Hi friends, my name is Nishanta. I am a dyslexia coach and teacher. I work here in Southern California. In this video, we're going to be talking about the OMAD diet, or how to eat one meal a day to lose weight. I'll split this video up into 4 parts. In part 1, we're going to be talking about the basics of the OMAD diet. In part 2, I'm going to be talking about why I'm doing the OMAD diet. Part 3, I'm going to be talking about some of the mistakes that I made that you can avoid. And in part 4, we'll kind of jump into the science of like why this works. Let's go! So what is the OMAD diet? So the OMAD diet is basically intermittent fasting, but like a hardcore version of it. So when you do intermittent fasting, what you're doing is, you're fasting for 16 hours, then you have like an 8-hour window where you're eating. That's intermittent fasting. When you're doing OMAD, which stands for one meal a day, you have a 23-hour fasting window and you're only eating one meal per day. And then you can eat a giant meal. So why am I doing this crazy OMAD diet thing? It's easy because I'm fat. All right, that's one of the reasons, but the second reason, the main reason, is at the beginning of this year, I set 3 goals for myself. The first one was to lose 50 pounds. Second one was to grow this YouTube channel and really work on like the quality of the videos I make. And the third one was to make a featured documentary film about losing a bunch of weight, creating a successful YouTube channel, and taking behind the scenes of creating a documentary. So basically this OMAD diet is a strategy I'm using in order to help me lose 50 pounds by the end of this year. And the reason why I chose OMAD over all the other diet things is because it's the most simplest thing to do. You gotta try to get all your calories in one sitting, and then you don't have to think about food for the rest of the day. You just have to have a really strong mental desire to get on this diet, and that's pretty much all the weapons you need. When you do other plans, like you try to eat like every couple of hours, or you try to hit your macros exactly right, there's a bunch of time-consuming things that happen in order for you to like be successful at that diet. But when you're doing OMAD, it's really simple because you are only gonna eat one meal a day, so you're gonna like stuff yourself, and your stomach has like a certain capacity that it can fill your stomach up with, so you're not gonna overeat, and you're really going to restrict the amount of calories that you consume over a long period of time. So that's what's gonna like push your weight down. So the simplicity of it is the thing that like initially attracted me to this diet. I'm working on these 3 projects, and I'm also teaching full-time, and I'm also a parent, so I really don't have that much time to dedicate to like getting my meals exactly perfect. And I'm just using this to cut the calories down, and it seems to be working really good right now. This diet is very, very simple. Anyone can really do it. I made a bunch of mistakes, and I kind of want to share those mistakes with you guys, so in case you want to try this diet, you can kind of avoid those and you can be more successful. The most important thing about this diet, I feel, is that you are continuing to do this for like a while. So if you have like a 6-month or a 3-month goal where you're trying to just do OMAD, I think you will be very successful. But in the first couple weeks, it's so easy to fall off the OMAD wagon, because this whole diet is based off psychology. It's like your body's gonna be like trying to tell you a bunch of stuff, and you're gonna like feel weak, and you're gonna like try to break the habit, and you're gonna try to break the diet because you don't think it's gonna work, or you're like it's too hard or whatever. But if you keep going at it, it gets easier and easier and easier, and I'm kind of experiencing that right now. All right, so the first mistake that I made was trying to be just like super hardcore on the timing window. First couple of days I was trying this, I was only trying to eat 4:30 to 5:30. That's when my family eats dinner, so I was just like really focused on trying to hit that. But I made so many mistakes. Things around the house that were just delicious, I just couldn't help myself, and I just ate it, and I felt so guilty for breaking my OMAD. The best mentality you have is like, you're gonna make mistakes, forgive yourself, and then try to hit that 1-hour eating window, and then just move forward. Don't like say like, I lost the day out, so now I'm just gonna snack all day. Don't do anything like that. If you make a mistake, just move forward as if you didn't make that mistake, and you still wanna hit that 1-hour eating window. Every day you're starting over, no matter what mistakes you made the previous day. Also, I think it's okay to give yourself a longer timing window at the beginning. So like the first week I was doing this, I gave myself about 4 hours to eat. So from like 4 to 8 I was eating, and I was probably overeating, but like I slowly started closing that window down to like the first 3 days I gave myself 4 hours, and the next 3 days I gave myself like 2 hours, and now I'm like only eating 1 hour per day. The second mistake that I made was I tried to get too crazy with the health food aspect of it. I tried to eat the most nutritionally dense, not very appetizing green foods that I can find. Eat the things that you actually like, don't even worry about the calories in the beginning, because what you're trying to do is you're trying to get your brain around this idea that you're only eating one meal a day. So try to be satisfied. It's kind of like this reward you're giving yourself at the end of the day because you've like abstained from eating for so long. So think of it in those terms instead of like, oh, I'm trying to do like all healthy food. I think later on, like in the next couple of months, as I'm progressing on doing OMAD, I will be like switching closer and closer to like healthier and healthier food. But for right now, I'm just eating whatever my wife makes and whatever that I feel is tasty. So a couple of days ago, I even went down to the burrito shop down my street, and they have like these giant burritos, and I got one for my OMAD meal, and it was so good. My stomach was just like, pop! It was like, I feel like I was at like, my third trimester of having a baby or something, but it was so good. I was so satisfied. I felt like the king of the world, and that was like the reward I gave myself for like having a really strong will not to eat the whole day. Enjoy the food that you're eating during this time, because I think that's one of the secret weapons that you're gonna be able to like pull out when your brain's telling you, bro, you gotta eat, you're so hungry, you gotta eat this food. You're dying out here, man, feed me. When that happens, just be like, nah, bro, we're about to eat something really delicious in like 4 hours, 3 hours, 2 hours, whatever. So the third mistake that I made is kind of related to the first mistake. Was I was trying to make some specialty food just for me because I was on this special diet. But I think the better way to do it is to actually eat what your family's eating, eat what your friends are eating, but just only pick one meal to like enjoy with them. So before, what I was doing was I was making like this really elaborate badass salad. It was really badass. It was like took a lot of ingredients and stuff. It was a good salad, but I was not eating what my family was eating. Like I had to make this specialty diet just for myself, and that was a mistake. So my advice to you guys is, at least in the beginning, when you're getting used to the OMAD diet, just eat what the people around you are eating, but just pick one meal and just give yourself some extra servings on that meal, because the thing about food is it's not just like a way to keep us alive, it's also a way to like enjoy time with people that you love. So I think that's a huge part of like eating. We're social animals, and food's a huge part of it. So don't remove the psychological need that your brain and your body and your heart has that's connected to food. I think if you're able to maintain that for a longer time, I think you'll be more successful doing this OMAD diet thing. So another tip that I want to give you guys is this OMAD diet is almost 100% a mental game. So be prepared for that, and try to listen to what your brain is like, the self-talk that's happening when you're like doing this thing. At 12 o'clock, I know my brain's gonna be like, bro, we should drink something, we should eat something, we should do like, just have a little taste, it's not gonna hurt. And I know that voice is gonna come up. So the first couple of times that it came up, that voice was so powerful in my head that I like heard it really loud. And then the next day, the same thing happened. The first couple of times I actually ate something, because that voice was so strong in my head. And then I noticed that this was kind of like a pattern that was happening. And then the next couple of times that happened, I was like, oh no, that's the voice that comes up every time. And then after a few minutes of that voice, repeating over and over again, we gotta eat something, go eat something, it just went away. So now I beat the 12 o'clock voice. And then the 1 o'clock voice comes. And then the 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock voice comes. And they'll become more and more powerful as you get closer to your eating window. But the more you notice this voice, the more you realize it's going to be coming up. It's a pattern that your brain just repeats, the less powerful it will become. My 12 o'clock voice is about to come on because it's 12:30 and I barely can hear it. I felt like eating something, but I'm like, oh no, it's my 12 o'clock voice. I just know that this dude just wants me to eat right now, but I don't have to. It's and you can kind of push through it. So knowing what to expect, knowing what your brain's gonna say, knowing when that voice is gonna show up will kind of get you prepared for you just not listening to that weakness kind of. I don't even think it's weakness. It's your body trying to make sure that you're eating enough so you don't die. But you're not gonna die. You only have to wait a couple more hours and then you're gonna eat some food. So now I kind of want to talk about why I think this diet is so dope and why I think it works so well. So the first reason is probably because of our evolutionary history. Pretty much when we were hunter-gatherers, I don't think we were eating 6-7 meals a day. It was pretty much impossible. When you were eating, especially when you had a substantial meal, you probably had to set camp, build a fire, and then roast something, and then you probably didn't want to do that every few hours because that was such a time-consuming process. So for a long time, you're probably not eating, you're probably fasting, and then you would probably find some type of food, and then you would probably eat to your fill, and then you'd move to the next part of your territory that you were living in. So I think this is like kind of how our bodies are like evolved to live, is to eat like giant meals. And this is how like usually big game predators like do it, like lions, tigers, wolves. These animals, most of the time they're hungry, and then they go find some food, and then they like feast, and then until like the next meal comes. This is kind of how it works. And I think humans are like that type of animal too. We like to go out, hunt things, and then like when we have food, we like to eat until we can't eat anymore, and then we move on to our activities and move on to the next meal. So the second reason why I think this like 1 meal a day diet is so powerful is because of like energy management. So when you're eating something, the digestive process consumes a lot of energy. So if you're doing that like throughout the day, you're like really sucking your body's system out of like a bunch of its vital energy that it could be using to like move your body, or like to help you think, to like maintain your body. All these different activities that could be using that energy is being used to digest food. So if you're eating only one time a day, your body only has to expend that energy like one time per day instead of like throughout the day. Like think about it, if you have like a really big meal, don't you feel so like tired? The reason why you feel so tired is because your stomach and your digestive system is using all of its energy to process this like huge amount of food that you're eating. And that's another reason why I think the OMAD diet at nighttime is really cool, is because you feel so tired, so you fall asleep easier too. Another reason why I think eating 1 meal a day is so powerful is because there isn't really that much thinking that needs to be involved. You don't have to have a calculator to calculate all your macros. You don't have to have like meal prepped in order to make sure that you're eating every 3 hours. You don't have to have like a special type of food that you're shopping for constantly. You can pretty much eat whatever you want as long as you're eating 1 hour per day in the beginning, and then later on you can kind of figure out the optimal meal that you're going to eat. I hope you guys liked that video. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below. I'll answer any questions that you guys have on the OMAD diet. This is a long-term series that I'll be doing throughout 2021. So expect more videos on diet, exercise, as I'm like learning more about it and as I'm like implementing more of these ideas. I'll also be doing update videos at the end of each month, so people can kind of see like how I'm progressing on each of my 3 goals: growing a YouTube channel, losing 50 pounds, getting into shape, and also creating a documentary to kind of document all this stuff. If you guys are watching this at a later date, I've already made those videos. Here's the playlist. What do you think? Am I more in shape than these videos than this one? I don't know. You guys let me know. Also, YouTube thinks you're gonna love this video, so click on this one. I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye, everybody. Love ya.